So I'm Mowgli. I'm the CEO of Phylos. We are using big data to make the next generation of cannabis. In a few years, this will be the third largest crop in the country. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but it's going to cure cancer and epilepsy and arthritis, and it's going to stop the opiate epidemic, and it's going to replace Pinot Grigio all across America. But this cannabis is not going to do any of that. Right now, consumers never know what it's going to do to them. Growers can't rely on it. Crop failures ruin a quarter of the harvest. It's insanely expensive to grow. With all the other major crops, we've dealt with these problems. A century of scientific plant breeding has optimized them for growers. It's optimized, for consumers. It's optimized them for farmers. So this is what corn looked like over the last century. It got way, way better and also way less diverse. Cannabis got a little bit better and way more diverse. So we don't understand that diversity. It's a totally undeveloped crop. So these are the big scientific leaps. Almost none of them made it to cannabis. During this stage, agriculture was using GMOs. That's the stage we're going to skip. My company is not going to make GMO weed. The industry doesn't want it. And there's actually a better way now to make new plants. So the new science is called genomic breeding. It is totally natural plant breeding, but it's very, very fast and powerful because it uses genetic data to drive the process. So this is huge. My clicker is slightly unresponsive. I apologize. Keep going forward. This is huge, but right now only big ag is using this technology. And they can't touch cannabis right now, which is good. It gives us time to grow, and it gives us time to do this work in a way that's sustainable without GMOs or pesticides. But imagine if they use their powers for good and for cannabis, and they could do it right now. So that's what we do. We're bringing cannabis up to speed overnight. We're working with Cornell University to develop the first modern plant breeding program for cannabis. We're creating entirely new kinds of plants that will solve all of those problems. So in the next few years, the wholesale market is going to triple. Last year, one plant had 10% of that market. It'll be about $10 billion in a few years. The market for new seeds and clones like ours will be over 300 million. We have a stellar leadership team, scientists and entrepreneurs. We have an incredibly powerful set of academic research partners. And our first project was collecting data with the Museum of Natural History. So you need a ton of that kind of data to do genomic breeding. And the industry needs data too, because still no one ever knows what they're getting. It turns out that the genetic data that we're collecting solves that problem as well. So we sequenced the DNA of cannabis from all over the world. We made an interactive map that we call the Phylos Galaxy, and we're selling genetic tests that let growers find their place in that map and finally be straight with their customers about what they're getting. It's basically 23andMe for cannabis, and it's actually starting to clean up the supply chain. Right now, dispensaries are already starting to ask for products that are Phylos certified. We have customers in 23 states and 5 countries. We have revenue that is growing 30% every month. And the testing business is basically the foundation for the breeding business, but it's a pretty good business on its own. So this is the crazy timing. There's an exploding new market. There's a brand new technology that market does not know about. The companies that do know about it have a firm barrier to entry. We think they'll come in about 4 years. By then, we will have completely changed the shape of this industry. Thank you.
Cool. Very nice. So if you are with Stashbox, please see Bryce over there. We have time for one quick question while we switch to presentations. Go ahead.
My question's around the strains that you're working with. I'd probably need to have some really pure strains dating back to the 70s or 60s.
We do. We have strains that are hundreds of years old. Collecting from museums and herbaria all over the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use those to then you can then genetically cross those from that period.
So the very old samples that we have are really interesting scientifically, so we can tell a story about where everything came from. But they're dead. We can't breed with those. Panama Red also is dead. It's gone forever. People keep asking. I know you were about to ask that.
And everybody cries. So fantastic work. Great answers.
Thank you.
I think he wants to follow up with you afterwards, too. So thank you very much.